What's going on, guys? I'm Andrew.
I'm Jason.
And this is Movie Source.
Today we're going to be reviewing Batman and Robin.
Alright, guys, we actually have a special guest on today. Not a lot of people actually like this movie, but we somehow found someone who did. This is our good friend Steven, and he's going to help us review this catastrophe, or what I like to call a toy commercial. But, hey, I always say movies are opinion. There's no facts, but I'm going to obviously disagree with every opinion he's going to have on this film. But, look, films are opinion-based. There's no right or wrong answer. So, we want to allow people to share their thoughts,
That's what I've been saying for years, Andrew, that there's no right or wrong answer, and that it is a matter of opinion. And so therefore, not that I wouldn't say our opinions don't matter, but everyone's opinion has a different point of view, and that's why I'm going to praise this movie while you all bash the heck out of it.
Yeah, no, that's fair deal.
I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I mean, Andrew despises this movie. Steven likes this movie a lot. I think it has some good points. It definitely has some terrible points as well, but I'm just going to try to look at it from both sides. So
yeah, but I mean, like, literally from the very beginning, from the first line, I want a car. Chicks dig the car. This is why Superman works alone.
Yeah,
you can already tell the script is ridiculous.
That's definitely the worst part for me about this whole movie, the script.
Oh, for sure. It's awful. I mean, some of the lines, and then, again, showing Commissioner Gordon's uselessness in this whole series. You show him, like, telling Batman who the villain is. Batman, a new villain has come. He's frozen the guards. He's calling himself Mr. Freeze. I'm like, when did this become a cereal commercial? I mean, now it's a toy commercial, now it's a cereal commercial. It's just ridiculous. I couldn't believe in the first 5 minutes I'm already despising a film, and I remember I'd seen this film when I was a kid, and I wasn't judging it this harshly when I was a kid, but that's obviously who this film was made for. It was made for kids. So the first viewings of this, I didn't despise it. I didn't love it for sure, but now as an older adult, I must have paused this movie maybe 40 times. It was so hard to get through 5 minutes at a time.
I understand your point. It's not. I see why none of you like this movie, but like you said, it's a toy commercial and it's a campy movie and it's a comic book movie. That's what comic book movies are. They're supposed to be fun and campy. I get it. It's a Batman movie, and I totally understand your point. But it's fun to look at it as a visual style masterpiece. Okay, masterpiece isn't the right word for it, but visual delight.
All right, look, you make some points that I don't agree with, but look, I will just say this. I don't mind campy tone, just not for Batman. It doesn't work for Batman. In the 60s, it worked for Batman. And it works for Spider-Man. It works for some other superheroes. It doesn't work for Batman. But
the point is, that's just the style that these movies took on. Because like we said before, in Batman Returns, they went with a different style. They didn't like that style, so they went over to this campy style. And that's just the style that it happened to be.
No, I mean,
this movie is very kind of bright colored. Maybe not as necessarily as bright as Batman Forever, but it still was kind of on that brighter side. But
it's really neon-y.
Kidding me? The only thing that I think this movie, it doesn't do too terribly is this movie is all about relationships. The relationships between Batman and Robin, the relationship between Batman and Alfred, with Mr. Freeze and his wife. Mr. Freeze, all his motivations are to save his wife, and at the end when he wants to kill everybody, it's because he thinks Batman killed his wife when it really was Poison Ivy.
I gotta mention, while I despise and hate this film, the one thing I like in this film is Alfred and Bruce's story, where Bruce is having an understanding and Alfred's telling him you can't save everyone, and like Alfred's dying of McGregor syndrome. Fun fact, the producer's name in this film is Peter Scott McGregor, I believe, so they called him McGregor syndrome. Interesting fact. Anyways, getting back to what I was saying, I loved the dynamic that Batman can't save everyone and that he was going to lose his long-lost father, Alfred, the guy who's been taking care of him since his parents died. And it was emotional. Like, I felt it. And then they went with some stupid plot device that Mr. Freeze has the cure because his wife had the exact same thing.
Just on him at all times, on his arms.
And then Alfred would say, was like, the one good thing you had in this movie, and you freaking ruined it with a stupid plot device. Like, it was actually, I was a little moved by those scenes. Yeah. And then it was just a stupid way how they resolved the issue.
I've seen this movie be bashed to hell. But this movie really doesn't deserve bashing the same way it does. There's so many worse movies nowadays, especially with all the movies that are being made unnecessarily.
I agree with that. Like, I think this movie has gotten way more bashing than it deserves. It definitely deserves bashing, but it's been like dragged through the mud so much. It's not a great movie, I don't think, but I don't think it deserves as much hate as it gets. But it definitely gets a lot.
I completely disagree with these guys. It deserves everything. Despise and hate, and throw this in the fire, please. And also, too, we got to mention all the people apologizing for this film. George Clooney says that he makes fun of this movie all the time. Joel Schumacher put a clip up, or rather, I've seen a clip of Joel Schumacher apologizing for how bad this film is. And also, I will say the one thing I love about this film, it was so bad that it forced them to reboot the series, and then we got the Christopher Nolan, and now we get the Ben Affleck series. So, if anything, that's the only one redeeming and great quality of it. It was so bad, they had to go back to the drawing boards and actually come back with quality Batman films. So, that I'll always thank for it. So,
talking about bad being good, I know this movie is not very good, but the one cold spot for me is like all the
cold puns.
All the cold puns, all of Arnold Schwarzenegger's lines in this movie are basically all freeze puns, and I just think that's so funny. It's not good, but it's so bad that it's good.
I like some of the visuals, like I've said a million times. And the thing I like about this movie is that for what it is, fun. That's what a comic book movie should be, fun. I get it. Batman needs to be taken seriously. But my God, it's a fun movie.
I was not having fun watching this movie. In fact, I felt that they were insulting my favorite superhero film. He's got a credit card. Are you freaking kidding me?
Never leave home without it.
And it said, like, it's cute that it said forever on it. Like, that was cute and all. But why does he have a bad credit card? Why is he out in public? He's supposed to be in the shadows, in the dark. What is going on?
Why is everyone bashing the bad credit card? Who cares? I mean,
I care. I don't want to.
This is a fun little joke.
I care. I don't want to see a credit card with Batman. I want to see him beating the crap out of villains and in the darkness and shadow. Not making jokes like "Don't leave home without this card." Get out of here.
That's one thing I noticed too in this movie is that Batman and Robin were out in costume in public a lot in this movie.
Yeah, give away. Why don't you just tell everyone you're Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson? This film's a joke, and it's trash. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. It's not the best movie ever made. Let's just put it that way.
It's my second favorite Batman movie.
What?
Okay,
you're entitled to your opinion.
That's your opinion.
I mean, it's not The Dark Knight, which even I thought was overrated.
This is a toy commercial, Steven, in my opinion, not a summer comic book movie romp. This is a toy commercial. They even change suits midway through a scene, and we don't even get an explanation.
And then they change
They're
back.
trying to sell
and then they change back.
Then they change back again. They're trying to sell toys, Steven, so I disagree with your argument there.
What's wrong selling toys?
There's nothing wrong, but I want to see a coherent story about my favorite superhero, not a toy commercial.
Well, yeah, it's like whenever they pull out any gadget, it's like, and the camera zooms right to like.
Hey, we gotta mention, how about the Dutch ass shots again in this film?
Gotta
Joel
love
Schumacher,
those.
we get it, okay? We don't want to see Dutch ass shots of Batman and Robin and even Batgirl. Enough. I don't care about any characters in this film other than Bruce in the scenes when he's with Alfred and Alfred. I care about two characters in this whole movie. I don't care about anyone. I don't care what happens to anyone in this movie other than Alfred.
My problem with that is that I just feel like George Clooney
and the script are terrible.
I feel like George Clooney is just kind of mailing this one in. Like he literally,
one-dimensional.
His entire voice is monotone, whether he's Batman, whether he's Bruce Wayne or anything.
The whole
like
film.
yeah,
I agree.
He doesn't even like give any emotion in any of his lines at all. And then I thought Chris O'Donnell is like fine, but all of his lines are just the worst written lines ever.
Whiny. Just all movies just whining to Bat. And he had some.
I want a card.
Yeah, but he had points on like Batman didn't trust him. I agree. It's just the tone and the way he came off. It was so whiny to me. Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne. It's just such a meaningful relationship, and their performances and the chemistry between the actors. I just didn't buy it. They just didn't feel like Bruce and Dick to me at all.
For me, I liked some of the points and where this movie was going. Sometimes just the execution was so terrible. That's what killed it for me.
Yeah, no, this film, as I
said, it had good points. It had like, okay, the story's gonna go somewhere, and then it just doesn't really go there.
We have to mention the catastrophe that is Bane, or not Bane as I like to say. That's not Bane. That's just a wrestler wearing a mask.
Yeah, like a Mexican wrestler.
Yeah, and he's just literally, I mean, Bane in the comic books, they created this character in 1993, and not only is he one of the most physically imposing villains Batman's ever faced, he's intelligent.
He's smart.
Not in this movie at all.
He's just roided out rage
monster. Really? Really? Do you guys read the comic books?
No.
God, do you know anything about these characters at all?
No.
Don't include them if you don't know anything about these characters. Call him Joe Schmo or something. Don't call him Bane if you don't know how to portray Bane. You clearly didn't know how to do Two-Face, Joel Schumacher. We get it. So don't ruin other characters. This movie is pissing me off.
It's not the Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. I'll give you that.
Yeah, but I agree. He has no lines, Steven. He just says one word dialogue, and he's a moron, and he obeys Poison Ivy's commands at will. This is not Bane. Sorry. And like
I
you
think
said,
they just threw him in as another bad villain to get another name in there.
Also, they wanted to sell more toys, so, throw them there. And Poison Ivy. Uma Thurman is a phenomenal actress. She was nominated for Pulp Fiction, I believe, for Best Supporting Actress. In Kill Bill, she's awesome. She's a great actress. She is terrible, horrible in this movie. And again, the script does her no favors. The horrible direction does her no favors. The director's lack of knowledge of knowing the character, and you can make a mention that maybe she didn't do enough research, but every line of dialogue from her was ridiculous. And it's like, that's not a man, that is a god. Like, is this like a classic tale film set in the 1800s? Like what time period are we in right now? She was talking like she's not in 1997, so her dialogue, her tone, all the way with all the motivations, the character, just really done poorly. Hated her performance in the film.
Why did everyone apologize? I mean, I think the reason why most people apologize is because people like you hated the movie so much.
Yes, I did.
I mean, think about it this way. If you were upset that everyone hated your movie, you would probably apologize too.
If it was this bad, I would, yes.
Joel Schumacher even admitted that he wanted the direction that Warner Brothers.
My point, I agree.
But come on, would you really bash your own movie? I mean, you tried to make the most of it.
I wouldn't want to bash my own movie, but if the rest of the world is telling me how bad my movie is, I'll say I apologize. I'll try to do better next time. I'm sorry.
You can't please everyone, and in this case, he couldn't please anyone.
Well, no, you pleased him and a few.
And again,
look, it's all opinion based. I don't mind that Steven likes this film. That's totally fine. He can like it. There's films I like that are not very good that I love. Like End of Days is an Arnold Schwarzenegger film that's terrible. I love that film. It's a guilty pleasure film of mine. I'm not saying he's not allowed to he can love whatever he wants. I just disagree with his points, and I will never understand why he likes this film. But I have no issue.
Everyone is entitled to their own opinion.
It's your own opinion. You should not be forced. Just because I despise and hate this film doesn't mean you should. But if you watch this movie, you'll probably understand why I hate this. But
I feel like you hate this movie especially because it's a Batman movie. If you look at it as not a Batman movie, you wouldn't hate it as much, even though you still hate it.
I would still think it's a piece of junk, but I wouldn't despise. I'll agree with that. I would not despise it on the level I despise it if it wasn't a superhero that I care
that's the only point.
But just in general, I feel angry. I want my hour and 40 minutes on the 20 times I've seen this film.
It's actually 2 hours and 4 minutes.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't pay for any of those 2 hour and 4 minutes. I never saw it in theaters. I only saw it when it came out.
My dad
and
paid.
I was happy
that
about
sucks.
that.
George Clooney, you owe my dad money. Remember you said.
You owe me money too, even though I don't hate your movie.
Terrible. Anyways, guys, as you can tell, I love this film. I think it should have been nominated for Best Picture. Just embodies everything. I'm kidding. This is the worst piece of trash ever known that's not named Catwoman in terms of comic book films. It's definitely on my top 5 worst comic book films ever. I'd put it numbered. Catwoman and Batman and Robin, they go back and forth for me. Some days it's Catwoman. Some days it's Batman and Robin. I'd lean more on Batman and Robin just because I do care for Catwoman, the character, but this movie is just such an insult to the character and just really ticks me off every time I think about it, and I'm just happy I'm never going to watch it ever again.
Give this movie another chance and look at it from a different point of view.
Watch it if you want. Don't watch it if you don't want. Andrew hates this movie. I don't think it's as bad as he does, but I don't think it's very good. I just like watching Arnold Schwarzenegger spit ice puns all day long, so...
What killed the dinosaurs?
The Ice Age!
Heck yeah!
I laugh at every single one.
Stop!
Score? How about the score?
I'm going to give this movie a 2.3 out of 10, and that's a very generous 2.3, may I add.
I'm going to give this a 7.
Oh, all right. That's lower than I thought you were going to give it.
I'm going to give this movie a 4. I like watching Arnold Schwarzenegger spit his ice puns, but that's about it. This movie starts going in certain directions that I think might be good, but then just never really gets there and never gets fully realized.
No, I agree with that. Anyways, like I said, thank God this was created because we got now the Nolan series and now the Ben Affleck series, so thankful for that.
Alright guys, well that's going to do it for this video. Please let us know what you thought about this movie in the comment section. We obviously are all very pointed, so let us know what you think, whether it's good or bad. And if you want to check out more videos like this one, you can hit the subscribe button.
See you guys next time.